So today, we have everything tuned to 440, but it's not good for our daily usage. It's not good for relaxation, harmonization, balance. Yeah, look at the world we live in today. Everybody is so disoriented,
Very, yes, totally. And people would
chaotic. Yeah,
constantly complain of headaches and not being able to focus.
that's the frequency we give to our body, because our body is more energy than physical. Then that's not cool. Yes, we can put out fire using frequency 60 hertz. There are more people being killed by parasite than any other disease on this planet. When parasites frequency hits the parasite, they actually start to shatter. Ancient church, they always show the cymatic pattern above their door, where you can actually see the frequency the building was emitting. There is a bell graveyards because most of the bells on these buildings, on these churches, were sacred frequencies. And during the war, they all took him down on a excuse that we need the metal. But if you need the metal, do we still have the graveyard then? And the more I experienced it, the more I realized, oh my God, the more I don't know. And to this day, the more I know, the less I know.
The main reason I wanted to speak to you, and I think it's really important to kind of talk about this topic on sound healing, is because it's definitely been coming up. It's been gaining a lot more attention for the last few years. I know it's something that's been there since ancient times, and a lot of people have been using it since ancient times, but it seems to be becoming more and more widespread now. Some of the things that this week I came across on Instagram, scrolling through Instagram, was a video of people using sound to actually put out fire, and I thought that was pretty fascinating. I don't know how true that is and if that actually works, but that was really, really interesting to me. And so, yeah, and I came across your amazing app, PEMF Healing, which I had the opportunity to test for myself. And, I have to be honest, in the beginning, I always say, okay, let's try and test these things. I'm always a little bit skeptical, but I have to say, this is the real deal. Like, I tried it and it was really, I was amazed at just how powerful it was. And you can really feel within your body, just very viscerally, some of the sound being played for the app. And you have so many different types of sounds that you can, everything from healing heart healing to meridians to, yeah, it's very specific. So it was very, very interesting to me. And so I thought it would be great to connect and find out more about it. So, yeah, tell me a little bit about how this all started. How did you get into sound healing?
I kind of was born in it, as a childhood. When I just go back, every time I went to nature, like I remember telling my mom and dad, do you guys hear this? Do you listen to this sound? You do this? And then most of the time they would say, what are you talking about? We don't hear anything. It's just nature. Just keep going. But then I would find myself hours and hours sitting in the middle of a jungle, listening, recording the jungle, nature. I've always been a very avid advocate for soundscapes. And then at very early childhood, I realized, well, when we stand middle of a nature, this ear here hears something, this ear hears something else. It's not the same because have we noticed on our body, right? We have two of everything most of the time. So, and then if we measure like our left eye with our right eye, it's not exact symmetry. There a very slight variation in our body from left to right. A new concept. It's called binaural humans. We have a binaural body. And the binaural means, why do I say binaural is because when you have two frequencies, one in each ear and that ear, then you have a difference of a frequency. That's a binaural effect. So starting with that, early on, I got really fascinated in electronics. I got a degree in electronics from Europe, Denmark, computer science, and then one led to another. I've been doing development for the last 20 years, applications. But at heart, I've always been an artist who, from childhood, played music, studied music. I studied piano, classicals. But, fascinated with different instruments just because they were producing different types of energy, So I always say my instruments didn't choose me. They chose me. I didn't choose them. They always come to my life for a specific reason, teaching, certain message. So I always, my entire life, been around electronics, magnetism, coding, development, frequencies. And if you search my name on, just put Art Tawanghar music, you'll see I've been involved in music for over maybe 40 years. And yeah, I have many albums, I was part of Grammy at one point, but I took a different journey on my music. So I just didn't want to be a mainstream musician anymore. I want to have something that matters, that lifts the spirit, and that's, I stumbled on sacred geometry, sacred frequencies, such as solfeggios, and that was the rabbit hole that took me down. Wait a minute, music is not just music anymore. It has so many different, through harmonics, we open different dimensions, we can do astral travel, we can do out-of-body experiences. And then I did a very simple search on Google. Here there is, a Dr. Robert Monroe talking about binaural effects on our, through psychoacoustics, and I psychic, and CIA followed up, hired him, training, so it's a rabbit hole. And yeah. I don't think we are, to your point, innovating anything new here. We're just polishing what's been forgotten. Everything we talk about, at one point somebody has done it, and that's the beauty of this time, where we have massive light hitting our dimension, and then consciousness is elevating to a whole new level. And that's why we are having this, because what we are talking about today is all about fifth element, and how we can utilize that energy for our health. So yeah, that's how I got started.
So you've been doing this for a very long time, then it's something
Very
that
long time, yeah.
it seems it came naturally to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting. What would you say, what was your first experience that you kind of very clearly remember where you yourself experienced healing through sound specifically?
It was through solfeggio frequencies. I stumbled on 528 first, and I started like giving it to friends and family, and started using on myself, just a simple tone. And very early on I realized, this is not just A frequency, this is D frequency. And for example, 528 was nominated for frequency of love, DNA repair, and tissue regeneration. Then I started experimenting, built my own very first cymatic cymascope, and then I ran the frequency on water, and then I look at the pattern on water. So wait a minute, what what's this? So because it formed this beautiful flower shape on the water, it's called cymatics, vibration on liquid matter. And then just did more experiment. I did more experiment with different solfeggio tones. I found out, there were only 6, and then 3 was added, 9. And then as being a musician all my life, I realized, I said, wait a minute, what if we add harmonics to him? Which nobody's talking about harmonics and solfeggios. Everybody's keyed in on the prime frequencies. Okay, prime frequency is nice, but in order to give a velocity to a frequency, you really need to have harmonics. So that I started experimenting with that. And the more I experienced it, the more I realized, oh my God, the more I don't know. And to this day, the more I know, the less I know. It gets bigger and bigger. And then I experimented, to your point, with fire. Yes, we can put out fire using frequency 60 hertz. You can
Wow.
actually do that experience yourself at your own space. Just take a lighter, turn it on, and run the frequency through the app, or maybe in a speaker is better because it has to have the pressure wave. And then you hold it tight, you'll see the lighter goes up. Poop.
Oh wow. So just hold a lighter in front of the speaker, and
Yeah.
then is it
And then
specific type of sound or frequency that you need to
yeah,
be?
yeah, you can use 60 hertz, you can use 40 hertz. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. I have no idea what that would how I can do. So what are the different? Can you just to go back to this? So you mentioned there's two types. There's the solfeggios and the kind of regular sounds that everyone else uses. So what's the difference between the two? If you can just
Very good question. So
yeah.
today, we have everything tuned to 440, right? So
Okay.
440 is a standard tuning for today's, like all of us get together, we want to do music, we tune automatically to 440. So who put
Is
that
there a
in?
reason for that?
So there are many reasons, some of them mostly called conspiracy theory because we can't prove it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But we know as of today, a lot of conspiracies we used to call theory, not their facts.
Yeah. Now they're
So
true. Yeah.
exactly. So I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe they're conspiracy, but they're not. There is a theory that saying it was changed during the World War. But I did my own testing. I never rely on what I did. I have to do my own hands-on testing to really understand what's going on. So I took all the notes that we have in a 440 scale, everything, and I grouped them by scale. So they were in each scale, and then I ran them through an oscillator, scope. The middle range was perfect. It was shaping a very nice harmony. But as soon as we get to a higher and lower scale, then we start to notice some, disharmonics. And then I tell to myself, if that's the frequency we give to our body, because our body is more energy than physical, then that's not cool. We want. And then I did the same experiment with 432, 444. Frequency of water 429.62 by Dr. Mark Henry. And then I realized I don't get that. I don't get these harmonics on the segments, lower or higher segments. But I get that, and I start repeating the 440 again over and over and over. I start doing water testing, plant testing, and realized the 440, it's good if you want to have a drink, go out, stay, energized, for that kind of clubbing environment. That's why EDM music, for example, right? But it's not good for our daily usage. It's not good for relaxation, harmonization, balance. It's really
Okay.
keeping us disoriented and unfocused.
Oh
And
wow, that's so
and then I
interesting.
look at the world we live in today. Everybody is so disoriented,
Very. Yes, totally. And people would
chaotic. Yeah,
constantly complain of headaches and not being able to
yeah,
focus.
yeah.
Okay, so the frequency of 440, so that's used in everything like music, television.
Everything.
Oh wow.
Radio. You turn on radio today is 440.
Oh, interesting. Okay, because I think I remember hearing Kanye West talking about that or something
Yeah,
similar to this.
many people. Did you know John Lennon's? I don't know facts, but I've seen many articles talked about. They saying John Lennon's original Imagine song was recorded in 528.
Oh, okay, okay. Wow.
So, truth or not, I don't know. But when I listen to, because what they've done digitally, you can change the tone afterwards, right?
Okay.
So somebody told me if you have the actual recording of when it came out on an LP or the medium that came out, then you listen to that, then it's actually 528.
Interesting. Okay, and they changed it after. Have you had a chance to hear it, the original one? No.
No, I want to. I've been looking for it. A
Okay.
friend of mine in UK, he said he has it, but he's not willing to. That's so valuable. But as soon as I go with him, that's one thing I would love to test.
Interesting. And so you mentioned that they changed the frequency was changed to 440 after the World War, after the Second World War.
Yeah, there is a theory that they did that during Hitler time it was happened, to mass manipulation, keep the masses under control, and then there is another theory saying no, it was during the church revolution. That's what they happened. That's why. And then that may be more aligned because here's another thing. Did you know churches, mosques, temples, what do they have all in common? There is one thing they have in common. They are all reverb chamber. If you go in any of them, you clap your hands, you have this very beautiful harmonic reverb. So you would ask yourself, why would a civilization go through so much work and precision, almost building a structure laser perfect, that we can go in there and sit and pray, don't say a word? Why would prayer need a reverb chamber? And then you start digging, you go in the Sumerians, you ancient language, ancient literature, you find out majority of these buildings that the old ones, the ancient ones, they're built for healing centers. There were not chairs in these places. They were empty. So, and if you look at the church, ancient church, they always show the cymatic pattern above their door, where you can actually see the frequency the building was emitting, the generating, the way it was built. When the organ was played, that is why they call organ, and then we call our internal organ. What is that correlation? There is no coincidence.
That's very true. Yeah, so fascinating.
Yeah. And here is the test you can do. Take a plate of sand, take it to any church or mosque or the ancient ones, not the recent, because the recent one probably didn't use the sacred geometry. And then have, if while the organ or some resonance is being played, and you can actually see the sound form in some form of harmonic pattern, and that it shows the frequency that is being emitting through the structure. This is huge.
Wow, that is really interesting. I bet some people actually, after hearing this, are going to test it. I want to test it for myself. Definitely. Yeah.
And then you can even take a big, like a water, and then put it in building and then freeze it, and then look at the crystallization of water. It's all there.
Yeah, that really makes sense. I actually remember speaking to an artist, like a painter and stuff, and he studied sacred geometry from churches originally.
Yeah.
And he was also saying the same thing, that the colored glass that we see on these old churches, they basically, again, it's like color healing.
It's color therapy.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's color therapy through sun, because sun hits it, it glows up, it becomes vivid. That's actually, isn't that what we call infrared therapy today?
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
UV light behind
true.
a specific color.
Yeah, totally. Oh wow. Yeah, it's like if you trace back all of these things, they originate
Yeah.
from something in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and then we go to an era that during war, did you know there is something called bell graveyards? There is a bell graveyards where because most of the bells on these buildings, on these churches, were sacred frequencies. And during the war, they all took him down on a excuse that we need the metal. But if you need the metal, do we still have the graveyard? Then why is not the metal used? Why did you take him down and throw him out in the graveyard? And most of the bells were replaced with a non-sacred frequency bell.
Non-sacred frequency bell.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were
What would that?
mostly was solfeggio. The bells mostly was built in sacred frequency, or at least solfeggio. Yeah.
I remember reading something about this, and I remember reading that when those specific bells were used, it was kind of like clearing the energy in the city.
Yeah, for the entire, yeah.
Wow. And now I mean, they still do it in the Muslim countries. Like if you go to Turkey, they,
Yeah, they
you
do.
have and they
And I
have
went to
sounds.
Turkey. Yeah, my wife and I went to Turkey on summer. Yeah, and then the bells were ringing. Yes, but I didn't want to be around them. No,
Okay, so definitely not the same sound as what it used to be.
no,
That's
yeah,
interesting.
definitely not.
So they've implemented this everywhere. Are there any places in the world you think they still have the old type of bells?
It's very hard to tell. I'm sure, it's impossible to do it, but for everywhere, I'm sure if we look, we can find places that are still untouched. In Tibet, exactly, in sacred places where there's less conflict, definitely. But this only shows that even in this civilization, humans that we are today, at one point we knew exactly the power of frequency healing. And I always say to myself, if I'm a small scientist, know about these things, then what do the big people know that I don't know about?
That's the big question.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I always say what you seek in seeking you, right? So when we are looking for an answer, the answer is looking back to find us, and it will find us more sooner or later. Frequency healing is real. I have seen with my own eyes somebody who was not able to walk for 12 years suddenly being able to walk, spine, tissue regeneration, heart, um, you name it. And even recent study shows when you have a cracked tooth, you can repair it back using frequency. We can do levitation with frequency. We can, because frequency has no boundaries, it goes through anything and everything.
Really powerful.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. I would definitely want to research some of those. And I was actually listening to a TED talk today about a guy who had healed his spine. So exactly what you said with
Exactly.
sound. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really incredible.
Yeah.
And also, there's been a lot of. I mean, I know that's probably been around for a long time, but only recently on social media there have been a lot of kind of images and reels coming on about healing cancer. There's a decrease in cancer cells by 20 to 30%, I think, with using sound.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
also, yeah,
We
pretty
I
fascinating.
also did another experiment with sacred scripture, taking from Buddhism, Muslim. I'm not religious myself, I believe in God, but I am not tied to any specific book. I respect them all, and there's truth in all of it. But we did an experiment where we took sacred scripture from Quran, and then we basically laid it on the water and using a petri dish, and we froze the water right after, when you took it out, and then we look at water, because water remembers, live water, not tap water. It has to be high quality. And then we look at, and every time we are reading these scriptures, they emit certain, even words emits frequency. Right now I'm speaking words. These are energy exchange frequency. It's not really how we think word is. It's not. It's all through frequency.
Yes, like they say, words are spells, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Spelling. Why do we call it spelling? And I always advocate before drinking your water, say a very small prayer into it, because you just have ignited it. Because we are an energy being. We are like emitting frequency all day long. It's either low frequency. When it's 0 hertz, we are dead. We no longer have a life. But when we can go up above 10,000, 15,000 hertz, which is a divine frequency, and that's what we call enlightenment, right? So we are everything is we can be measured in frequency. When we speak or think a certain things, it always impacts us in two ways: elevates us, or it's bringing back. So if it means fear, jealousy, pride, guilt, takes us down to our lowest energy. That's why we feel so low. But when we are proud, of accomplishment, whatever, then we are moving up. So love frequency is very powerful. So everything can be measured in frequency. We are more frequency beings than we are physical beings.
Yeah, like Nikola Tesla says, everything is energy, frequency, and
Yeah.
what was the last one? Something like that.
Yeah, when we have photon, we add frequency into it equals matter. We actually have, that's how manifestation, that's how something grows in the nature. Because have you noticed with no sun, nothing would ever grow because it needs, the frequency needs the light.
The frequency needs the light.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the photon is the light plus any frequency equals matter. So, and that's how our language, the
Yeah.
way we talk to each other, the way we talk to ourselves is extremely important. It's
Yeah.
constantly manifesting, constantly, good or bad.
Yes. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And like they say with the spiritual practices, when they say where your energy, no, where your focus goes, energy flows. And it's
Yeah,
kind of like,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Through the app, we also have a concept that we're saying remote healing, where you actually hold space for somebody who is in need and is not nearby, and you take the frequency and you project it to a remote focus, whether it's an animal, plant, human, doesn't matter. And then we have done studies where we take a glass of water and we have a meditator while the frequency in being emitted, emit that frequency to the water, and then we freeze the water, look at it, it's the same exact frequency that we were emitting.
Yeah, I've seen some of those experiments. There are a
Yeah.
couple of people that I follow online who do kind of
Oh
dishes
yeah,
with
same exact,
water,
same
and they
exact.
put the sound. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very
Yeah,
fascinating.
it's very powerful.
Wow.
And these are the experiments you can do at your home. You don't have to be a scientist. You
Yeah.
don't have to have $1 million lab. Petri dish costs $6 on Amazon. And
Yeah, the cheapest lab.
yes,
Yeah.
I say start researching by ourselves, because that's the only way we can find truth.
Yeah, no, completely. I agree. Everything that I believe in today, in terms of this, everything under the spiritual umbrella with to do with sound healing or even mandalas and using all types of mantras and stuff like that,
Mantra, it's
I
so
only
powerful.
believe because I've tested it on myself and
There
I
you go.
know it works on me.
There you
So,
go. Yeah,
yeah,
because otherwise, external sources, how can you trust, right? We can only trust our own intuition, so our own experiences, and that's how it's been a frontier of my research all these years. Because I'm very skeptic. So if I have to believe something, I need hardcore data. I have a slogan says data never lies, and let's look at the data, see what we have, and is it going to help us? What does it teaches us? And how can we make the data better is the questions I ask.
yeah.
And
Yeah, and you mentioned I asked you before in terms of how how you test the sounds using the app. You mentioned that you use research, so you use research from PubMed, the National Library of Medicine. So how does that explain to me a little bit about the process? What happens? So you do a little bit of research,
yeah,
and then you test it on water, you test it on plants,
yeah,
and then finally in the app. How does that work?
that's a very good question you ask. Before I got started, I was could not believe that frequency, how much frequency healing is tied to the term Rife frequency, right? And then I've been following Dr. Rife, everything. There's not much out about him. It's always a third party written stories. We have not much to validate from. But if we go back to the newspapers, which we can do today, where Dr. Royal Rife lived, and he was publishing articles and news and things through these outlets, we find out the way Dr. Rife was talking about frequencies was very, very different than the frequency understanding we have today. It was never meant, he never once mentioned Hertzian system, right? And the way he explains it through his research is like he developed a bunch of codes, random codes that he would type in on punching into his machine. Then it would be interpreted to certain frequencies, not one or three or five, many. and he would use it on pathogens, cell cancer, whatever. But then I look at online today, there's so many products and literature around rife frequencies, and they're all in hertz. And say, wait a minute, Dr. Royal Rife never talked about this. Like, so did we just take those codes and thought, oh, these are, for example, 5098. Oh, he must have meant it's Hertzian. No, he didn't. So that's not how he was talking about. And then, most of all, his lab was burned down, and put Dr. Royal Rife into deep depression after
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah, he
Okay.
came to work one day, his lab was burned down. Nothing got out, he was not notified. He couldn't even get a pencil out. So how did we get out thousands of pages of this frequency? It doesn't make sense. So, and Dr. Royal Rife, according to his own writing, never gave out these things to anybody, because mainly he mentioned is still in research. And even if you had those codes today or then, you would not know what to do with it, because you needed his special machine or macroscope that he had developed to be able to get these numbers, and then a different machine to run it. So it would have no value for us. And then we took most of this rife. So we bought 3 sources of rife frequency, that one of them very expensive, one of them medium, one of them very cheap. And then we cross-examined a bunch of these frequencies. We found out a lot of frequencies, there's something in there. You can run these frequencies within a spectral analyzer, and it says, oh, there's some energy in there, and some of them even chaotic, some of them not even working. So, and then we look online for National Library of Medicine and all the European agencies or research centers. Nobody once talks about anything in regards to Dr. Royal Rife. So you're telling me they're spending millions and millions of dollars on random frequencies to make sure it's working, but they don't want to test Rife because they know this fact. They know it's waste of time. So from the very early on, I wanted the app to be backed by science, and not an hypothesis that we think is right. We have enough people calling their product Rife. I didn't want to be one of them.
Yeah.
My main intention was to have an honest app that I can help you. I can help you. I can help your animal. I can help your earth, water, everything. I didn't want to be built on a buzzword or marketing word that to just make money from. I could have made a lot of money by calling my app Rife, whatever. Yeah, not the way to go. Not the way to help humanity. So we started looking into science, what is available. When you look at a cancer treatment, and you see there's almost $3 million spent on the research. That's the money I don't have to spend on it. And then we take that, and then we ask ourselves, what kind of technologies in sound do we have available today? We have the binaural, we have the multidimensional, we have a whole new technology to us that we are not utilizing. We have surround, stereo, and then we add some of those layers into the research. Sometimes even we add harmonics, to beef it up, make it even stronger, based on the foundation that we found that has been tested and documented. Thousands of pages is on there just for one condition. And then we find out the results are much, much faster achieved. Because we're not just assuming anymore. We are taking something that exists, and then we empower it. And that's what the app is built on.
Okay, wow. Okay. And normally, so you see results when you're testing it, but also people, I guess, would tell you through reviews and stuff like that it's actually working. And
Yeah, we have phases. So every time we go through a phase, we have a research phase where we look at, okay, what is out there? And then we always try to fight back by science or something from that. And then we take that, create our own version into it. We start doing actual water testing. And then we do plant testing. The way we do plant testing, we hook up tense patches to a plant, and then we run the frequency. We never want to harm the plant. We are seeing if and then we measure the plant's emotion using a very cheap device, 200 device called Plant Wave. We kind of modified that so we can actually look at the plant emotion while the frequencies is coming in. Is the plant now happy or sad? Because plants are very smart, very smart. They're so much smarter than us when it comes to energy reading. And then we take that, but at the end, we try to at least do between 10 to 20, 30, as much as we can find human trials that are willing to participate in a research. And then we do a focus group, to see, okay, we not only we did the water, we did the soil, we did the plant, and we also gave this to 20 participants. What was that outcome? And that's how we gather, and we know we can put so much truth behind our frequencies. We are not just rife. We have studied rife. We have studied electro-herbalism, neuroceptors, acupuncture, meridians, because the more we can add to a frequency, the bigger a spectrum becomes. The bigger a spectrum is more energy you get. The more energy, the faster your body heals naturally.
Oh wow. Okay. So
We don't want people to be lifetime subscriber. If you want to be lifetime subscriber on our app, be my guest. But
yeah,
we do
fast
not.
results.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't want to be a big pharma concept where you have to take a pill for the rest of your life to survive. No, because our body is much more intelligent than just having to depend on something. Never.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think given the right tools, our body is perfectly capable of healing itself once you give it the
Exactly.
right tools and the right food.
Exactly.
But it's just most of us don't really do that. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Our
Oh,
slogan is heal naturally, live fully, because we did not come here to be sick.
yes, totally. Oh, that's so interesting. And when you do the human trials, is it people who physically attend? Do they, attend in person, or do you just send them the new sound that are being tested and they just test it at home? How does that work?
So we started by having focused environment, but it's not the proper way of testing, because if we get somebody into a lab, that's never going to be the correct environment, right? So we stopped doing that. We found out we get more accurate result if you're actually testing in an actual environment that user is in. Because sometimes this is hard to believe that it's not even our body that gets sick, it's our environment that's sick. That keeps our body in that state of condition. Sometimes just removing yourself from an environment to another environment takes care of. I have so many friends that moved from one country to another country, and they were on bags of pills, and after like couple months, 3 months, they went to doctor, and doctor said you don't need any of them anymore. So testing in that environment really helps, and it's more accurate. So what we do, we put a call out. Hey, we have this condition. Usually we always start with getting 2-3 people on. I have a group on Facebook, almost right now, almost 13,000. That helps a lot with this kind of discoveries, and
That's
we'll
amazing.
provide.
That's a lot of participants.
Yeah, and they're all within the same industry. It's not like mixed. They're all interested in this kind of modality. And then they sign up. We give them a protocol, exact protocol to follow. We hold their hand, we observe, we document every step of the way. We do a 1 week, 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, and a year trial sometimes. And then we also don't want something to come back, right? If it comes back, then what happened? We want to learn from that, because one of our biggest thing in this frequency, this is not a remedy. This is not, you have to take it, be healthy, you need it for, no. This is guiding your body to heal itself. So you shouldn't be on it for life. So we observe that, and it's a lot of work. And this is another question we get: why is your app not free? You know,
Yeah.
people just knew how much money goes into research.
And the equipment, which is probably super expensive, I can only imagine.
The
Yeah.
equipment is not expensive. It's the risk. It's holding, just doing the research, having people doing it, organization, documentation. Just the process of research is so lengthy and costly. Labor costs money.
Yeah,
And we
definitely.
do it just because we just don't want to be another PEMF app or frequency app that gives you a pharmacy of frequency not tested, validated, or backed by science. We want you to have, every time you swipe up on one of our frequency, to say, oh, these people have done their work. They're not just saying this. This is why, and this is the link to research you can tap on and then go and read why we got this base fundament from. And knock on wood, success rate on our app is been very good because we've done our homework.
Yeah, and that's one thing I think really stands out specifically about the app is that it blends science and
Yeah,
ancient wisdom, so it blends the two together. Because most of the times you either find it's only science or it's only ancient wisdom.
so
So
true.
the people who are on the opposite side are like, well, this doesn't have enough science, and the other ones are, oh, this is too
Right.
science. Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is great. Yeah, this is totally the idea of bridging the two realms together. So yeah, I love that. Wow, that's really fascinating. In terms of the group, you mentioned it's people who are already in this field. Can anyone join, or is
Yeah,
it?
anyone. It's open to public. If you are a frequency healing explorer, then yeah, it's you can join.
Okay. Oh wow,
Great
interesting.
learning for everything. Daily motivations, daily affirmations. It's not just about frequency because I always say the most advanced healing tool is our tongue.
Tongue.
It's our tongue. It's the thing we speak.
Oh wow. Okay.
That is the
Interesting.
most advanced frequency healing app there is. So
Yeah.
through I just released a book. It's called Billionaire Muscle.
Oh wow.
So this book talks about how to rechange your life towards. We are poor because we choose to be. It's a state of mind. We are rich because we choose to be. So we learn how to change that. It's a muscle. It's a muscle that you get up in a day. You say, you know what? I want to make $500 today. For example, I'm just example giving. I want to do that. I want to. This is some intention, and then by end of the day, not only you've got it, but you've got 10 times more of it. It's our limited belief that keeps us in certain state of frequency. So the group talks about how to unlock your uh, belief system, how to get your frequency above the mind.
Oh wow, it sounds fascinating. I would definitely love to join.
Sure, I'll
I
send you the
love
link.
anything to do with experimenting. I think that's the way forward. It's for us to test things on ourselves and trust rather than trust the science or trust
No,
the
do
government
your
or
own
trust.
research. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Do your own
Yeah.
research.
So, recently, last week, we did one research. We actually asked a lab to run one of our frequencies with an actual parasite worm.
Oh,
There are
okay.
more people being killed by parasite than any other disease on this planet.
I've recently come to learn that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the internet going around now about
Yeah,
parasites and yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So, and then you should see it's on Instagram. I'll send you a link as well. When parasites frequency hits the parasite, they actually start to shatter. And I've done parasite detox myself, through pills and other remedies. Nothing works this fast. And
Really?
it's like 15 seconds later, you count it on video, it starts to work. And
Oh
we
wow.
actually did a study, an actual experiment where we had people on the frequency for a week or 2 or 3 weeks, and then they did a stool and blood sample, and you should see the results. Almost zero parasites. This is
Oh
huge.
wow. That is huge because it's a big issue, definitely a big issue.
Yeah.
And there are tons of, because I know I'm signed up to some of them because I find it very interesting, and it seems like most of the people do have parasites,
Yeah,
no matter how clean you are, because of the food and stuff we're eating,
yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, the world we live in today is built with what nanoparticles everywhere. It's in the air, it's in the food, it's in every soil, everywhere. Now, too much nanoparticle in the body forms a graphene structure, and
Yeah.
therefore, in no time, we become an antenna. So one area of frequency can help. There's also another video on our channel that what happens when the frequency hits the graphene in our body. Graphene is the stuff you get from your pencil, you know, the when you have a
Yeah.
pencil,
Yeah.
that thing in the middle is a graphene.
Uh-huh. And it was also supposed to be in the vaccines that we all got,
Yeah.
or some people got 4 years
So
ago. Yeah.
on the app, definitely we have a nanomorph for nanoparticles. We have Vax detox. We have chemtrail detox. You know,
Oh, that's a big one.
yeah,
Chemtrails.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all nanoparticles. So
Wow.
we don't realize how much nanoparticle um, control our health day by day. And staying detox, foods, you know, that doesn't contain nanoparticle.
Yeah.
And doing proper detox really, really help to staying healthy. And then there's another concept I'm also working on. Few farmers is soil-less farming, a farming that does not require soil, that is only run by frequency and moisture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
One of my biggest intention before I hit the bucket is help so many people in the hungry countries, you know, can.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and give them the power to do their own macro farming. It's only working for macro greens, like, and then you can do tomato, you know, those kind of greens. It doesn't work on like potato and things like that, but still, if you can do that in your home, just running
Yeah.
frequency,
Wow.
and then you
How
also
would that
get.
work with the, so you only would have the seeds, and what else do you need to?
So what you need water. Not water. You need a place to put a plant in. You know, you can use a sponge to put the seed on or something. You need some kind of medium to grow
Yeah.
the seed, and then you use moisture. We have a whole article on it, step by step, guys. And then you use a certain frequency. On our app, if you go, there is a section on home. It's called Plant Vitality. If you go on there, there's a specific frequency for various types of do you want for fertilization, you want for energy. So we found out through frequency we can pack more energy into a plant grows much faster. So something that's supposed to grow in a week, you get in 2 days, and it's much heavier in mass.
Interesting. That's because of the sound, I'm guessing.
Because
It's
of the sound. Because what is light? What is sun when you grow it in a soil? In a soil is a medium, right? And the light is photosynthesis. Light is frequency. Sun is frequency. So we kind of imitate same exact frequencies using harmonic law, using nature law, using all these things. And there are a lot of research out there on using frequency as a source. The food we eat is frequency. The fruit is frequency. Herb is frequency. Have you measured the frequency on herbs? Electro-herbalism. There is this book, highly recommended, talks about the frequency of herbs and herbalism. It's all, everything today is frequency. We're just having different names for it.
electro-herbalism. That That book definitely rings a bell. Yes.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's
that's
been
really
around.
fascinating.
Yeah, Brian McIntosh. And
Mm.
on the fifth element, there is also a book written by Brian Mayers called The Fifth Element of Health.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about, because we all know Earth has what? Electromagnetic field, right?
Yeah.
So he talks about why fifth element of health is so important, how it plays into the four element. Because if you look at the medicine today, they always talk about four elements, how we can heal through those. But when we put water and dirt together, it forms a clay. It suddenly becomes a sticky. Where did that magic come from? It's through the fifth element. So that book talks about that, how it can be utilized in creating a field, coherent field, because we are all bombarded daily by electronics, thermostats, computers, phones, you name it, keeps going. So our environment becomes very fast toxic, highly toxic.
Yeah, completely.
And we live in that environment. That's why having a lot of plants, waterfalls, things really help. But
Rejuvenate, yeah.
being able to generate a field using a coil, for example, to
Okay.
have a electromagnetic field.
What does that do exactly? It
This
produces
this
an...
is yeah, this is a toroidal field generator.
Okay.
These are magnets. So what you do, this is precisely constructed using laws of nature, vortex-based mathematics. It's all based on 369
Yeah.
vortex. So you basically, when you run a frequency within this, you spin a frequency, and if you bring a magnet close, you can actually feel it. You create a coherent field that this is only 6 feet, but there's a bigger one for a room. There's another one for the entire house. So you always put your body in this charging. Have you noticed the mobile? When you put mobile and this wireless charger, how does it get charged? It's through this technology. It's through the coil. They have
Uh-huh.
coils. If you take one of those chargers apart, you'll see three coils.
Okay.
Same thing happens if you lay our body on the bigger coils. That's what PEMF mat, energy mats, or frequency mats exist today,
Yeah.
because they follow the same concept, and they found out by human body laying on the coil, we also get charged. We need more charge than more than we need food.
Yeah.
And with artificial food, polyester, even the clothes we wear has a certain frequency.
Yeah. I've heard that.
Polyester is zero frequency, dead frequency.
Yeah, the worst.
Nylon.
Yeah, yeah, nylon, polyester, the things
Yeah.
that most of our gym clothes are made out of are
Yeah.
actually very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And so through the coil, you can also imprint frequency into your water and drink the water. We have a lot of animal patients that
Okay.
cannot take the frequency energetically, because they're very sensitive to frequencies. They get agitated. Even though they can't hear it, they get really agitated. But we imprint it to water and give it to them, and we have seen enormous results.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's very interesting. Yeah, for
Because
animal
water
healing
remembers
especially.
everything.
And what's the reason why some animals can't take it? Because they're too sensitive to these frequencies, you
Yeah, they
mentioned.
go through. Animals are very tuned to environment, and they listen to nature very much. That's how they know danger is coming. An animal would know if the earthquake is coming way before that it actually happens. How do they know that? We also know that we have this power. We've kind of, from the very early on, kind of turn it down. And that's why through meditation, through stillness, we can turn it back up. But animals are very connected to it. So for some animal, a specific frequencies, especially when we are doing some treatment frequency or sharper frequency, they're based on a square wave. They're square kind of type, and they have what does a square have? It has harsh edges. Right? When you got these, got four harsh edges, and that kind of for some, especially cats we have seen, and rabbits, sometimes they can't take it. They don't like it. So, but they need it. It's like a medicine they know they have to take, but they just don't want
Yeah.
to.
Uh-huh.
For those cases, we imprint the frequency into the water
Okay.
overnight, and then we'll just have them drink it during the day. Amazing results.
Oh,
I'll
wow.
show you.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, because I also have a cat, and when I was testing your app, I listened to some of the sounds with my cat,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he didn't really react. He was just sleeping, and I thought, okay, maybe he's enjoying it.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
that's good to know. Okay, so you
yeah.
can just
Yeah,
use it like
frequency imprinting is very important because not everybody can afford a coil. Not everybody can have the right equipment. Not everybody, everybody's got a headphone. Imprint the frequency into water and make sure it's a good quality water. Tap water, it's really dead. You
so like well, bottled water is not also great either. I guess kind of
know? No, yeah, bottled
yeah.
water remembers. Yeah, it's not many ways. So yeah, what area are you from?
So I'm at the moment living in Barcelona
Okay.
in
Yeah,
Spain.
I'm sure
So yeah.
Barcelona have a lot of good quality artesian water. You know.
To be honest, I've never really looked properly because I get filtered water, but I do want to get a proper machine. I think Kangen water. I'm sure you know of it,
Yeah,
Kangen
yeah,
water.
yeah. That's very high
Well,
pH.
I'm saving up for one because I know they're definitely very costly, but they're supposed to be very good. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can also alter the pH level on the water with frequency. We've done testing before and after.
Okay.
Oxygen in water. There's all sorts of tests you can do. So
Mm-hmm.
right now, maybe with today's mentality and research, frequency imprinted water might work even if not better, as good as the Kangen water because it's all about charging a structured water. And there is this compound you also want to look up. It's called monatomic plasma. It's very inexpensive. You can buy. Even taking the tap water and putting drops of that in your water brings back the energy missing in the water. Give your water more structure, more life, and then always when you drink your water, say a small prayer, and not asking like, "Hey God, please give me this." No, here's the
Yeah.
thing, a lot of people are praying wrong. That's if you really. I was actually talking to my wife. Say if you go to the most poverty places in any town, any place, they're the most praying people. So why is not the prayer working? Why is not those neighborhoods lifted up? Why is not God's answering them? They're praying day in, day out. Yeah, because they're in begging mode, right? They're always, please, somebody sitting up there, please, please. And what happens to beggars on the street that do this? They get crumbles. They get 1 cent here, 25 cents, very, very small. They rarely get something big. But if we pray correctly, just as if we already achieve it, the frequency of what we already have, like I am healing, I am wealthy, I am powerful, I deserve to be wealthy, instead of please God, make me wealthy, please God, always asking for something that's in the future and past. Being in the now moment, that
Mm-hmm.
power of now ignites and has a very high uplifting energy. That is the energy needed to make a manifestation. So if you pray in the now moment as if you have it, and you really do it for a couple of days, you most likely start to see some change.
That's amazing advice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like I think Dr. Joey Dispenza talks about it, kind
exactly.
of
Same exact.
becoming the future you that you want to be
Yeah,
now. Yeah.
yeah. On the app, we have a meditation that walks you through your future 5 year version ahead.
Okay.
And here's the funniest thing: when you meet yourself in 5 years in the meditation, and you ask yourself questions, hey, how did you get there? How do you get so freaking rich? Show me. The answers you get is mind blowing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And if you can really through that guided meditation go to that space and see yourself, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between reality or visualization.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And once your subconscious mind through repetition picks that up,
Yeah.
then your reality has no choice other than lift itself up.
Yeah. It can be so believable that your brain, yeah, believes that it's actually real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a similar experience actually with the flat that I'm currently in. I really wanted to have a flat in this specific area of Barcelona, and it was very, very difficult to find
Yeah.
places because there was just so much competition, so much competition. and I completely manifested it. I
Yeah.
it just I drew a picture of it. I imagined myself being there. I even played sounds of hearing the ocean
There you
because
go.
it's close to the sea,
Yeah.
and I did that,
There you
and
go.
I got
Yeah.
it. So
That's
yeah.
exactly how it works. If you can trick your mind that this already happened,
Hmm.
you probably know the artist John Lil Jon. He's a mega artist. Yeah, I asked him, how did you make all these things happen year after year? You became world renowned. He said, very simple fact, Art. Everything happens for me twice. It
Mm.
happens once in my mind, vividly, and I feel it. It's as if it already. And he says the funny thing is when it happens the second time, I'm not that excited anymore. It already happened for me.
That's a good way to think about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Because right now, you got what you manifested. So you wake up next day, you're not as excited that you were when you found out you got it right now, because
Yeah.
that is that is the energy. It needs to be as if it really happened. And it's not just the visualization, but the emotion. You just said you used your five senses. You use your smell, you use your sound, your ear. So once we incorporate all of that into our visualization, and we put emotion behind it, it has no choice other than deliver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love that. Yes, that's the manifestation package, basically using all senses.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
under brainwaves, you can look. We have under brainwaves, under theta. If you categorize under theta, we have frequencies. We found out through 4 hertz to 8 hertz and above, which is the theta frequencies, we can actually stimulate hippocampus part of the brain. Hippocampus is there for decision making, your day-to-day decision makings, your belief systems, your confident, how confident you are. It's such a huge brain, and if you people who worry too much, overthinkers, feared, they have the smallest hippocampus. Yeah. Hmm. And that's why when you take a cold shower, suddenly, ooh, you get like this, something, harsh training, exercise, everything that puts the body in shock actually expands the hippocampus.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So a little bit of trauma to the hippocampus works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow, that's fascinating. And what about what would you say the sounds of nature? Because one of my favorite things to do is hiking in the forest. I love being in the forest, just hearing the sounds of the birds.
Oh,
It's just amazing.
yeah.
Um, yeah, what type of hertz or frequency is the sound of birds, for example? Is there a specific type, or how would you describe
Very
it?
good question. So doves, have you heard doves when the dove sings? They have some
Mm-hmm.
sacred into it. It's very hard to explain, but it's so sacred. Suddenly our heart melts. Something really sacred is around me. The way the dove sings. That's 432 actually. The
For
reason we do that because every time we hear a dove sing, it connects us to the dimensional, the grounding of Earth. If you look at the dimension of Earth, you measure the Earth, it's all based on 432. It's actually exact as 432. So dove emits that frequency, because doves they're angelic. Doves are very different than any other bird species. When they show up at your place, you are blessed. Really chosen.
Wow. Okay. Doves,
Uh,
not pigeons, right? Doves. Just to
Doves,
clear. Yeah.
yeah, doves, yeah. Pigeons, they have a different sound.
Hmm.
Doves have a very specific sacred sound. But
Okay.
birds usually operate in much higher frequency that we can't even imitate with our mouth. Even I try to hit couple of the notes that they're hitting. Impossible. I'm not even. So, and then keep in mind, these are the sounds we hear between 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz that we are able to hear. So, what are the sounds we are not able to hear? So, my friend one time had a very expensive mic because he was working for government. He had a 20,000 environmental mic that we went to nature and started recording nature with very special, expensive equipment. And then through his technology, he was somehow able to dumb it down for human ears to listen. There's so much sound we are not listening. There's so much sound. The reason birds have everybody wondered why birds sing in the morning. Why is that morning? It's because when birds sing, plants leaf opens up. Their pores open up, and they're able to breathe again.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah,
fascinating. I've never
it's
heard of
called a
that.
stoma. You can look it up. And
Okay.
there is a reason for everything happens. Everything is based on electricity, and frequency is electricity. And frequency is some form of voltage, electricity, vibration. So we are already living in a very electrified universe, whether we want it or not. Every time there is a storm, what do you see? You see, what are those? Those are electricity hitting it. Very strong current. If it zaps us, it can kill us. That's how strong it is. So through frequency, we are frequency beings. We're just taught a different label, and we're not even aware of it. So yeah, nature is very powerful. I record nature, as you mentioned, with my Zoom recorder, and then later on I do meditation on it with the headphones, because the microphone is able to hear a lot more than my ear can. And then through headphones I get the real binaural effect, left or right. That's medicine by itself. That's actual medicine.
Yeah, the binaural beats. I heard about binaural beats a couple of years ago, and that's been going on for a while. So yeah, that's definitely very
Very
powerful
powerful.
to
Very
have both
powerful.
sides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our brain has two sides, right? We have a left brain, right brain, we have a hemisphere. So when you do, let's say if I play 10 hertz here and I play 12 hertz here, I have a difference, 10 to 12 hertz. And that the brain starts to make up that difference. It's called left and right hemisphere, hemisync.
Hemisync. Yeah.
Hemisync, you might have seen that. So that stimulation, brain stimulation to do this calculation is a brain training that can make us better focus, better sleep, energy, healing, balance, harmony, love.
Yeah. And what's the frequency range that humans can hear? Between what to what? What's the range that we can hear
20
in what?
hertz,
Yeah.
we can hear all humans 20 hertz to maximum 20,000 hertz, 20 kilohertz.
Okay.
So if
20 to
I
20,000.
Yeah, if I sent you a file right now that frequency is 10 hertz, you're going to say me, oh, there's nothing on it, but there is something on it. You just can't hear it.
Yeah. So it's very similar to the light that we can see. There's only like a small fraction of light that we can actually see, and the rest is like infrared and everything
Yeah,
else.
exactly.
Yeah. Wow, that's fascinating. And what about, I'm curious to see what you think. There were probably 10 years ago, they were quite popular, the Ghostbusters type of recordings where people would go, to a haunted house and they would try to record sounds of spirits and things like that. I mean, some of them were, just hocus pocus, but some of them
Yeah.
actually seem
Huh?
pretty real and they seem to have the equipment. How would that work? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, there is this limbo dimension, because if the soul is not being through the process, there is a process to life, right? We are not supposed to interfere with it. Therefore, what is the ultimate punishment for somebody who's been evil on this planet? It's death, right? We kill that person. Because it's not by accident. We kill that person because we actually disturb his flow of energy for reincarnation, at least for a long time. Make sure he doesn't come back that easily. So when the life cycle is disturbed, some of us can get out, some get stuck. We get stuck in this dimension limbo. And then we can tap into that dimension. It's right above us. It's not that far. It's like 7 feet or 8 feet above our dimension. And then using a specific machine or recordings or things, we can actually record what's going on in that field. And there are a lot of people who have done it, and there are so many sounds, not pleasant mostly. It's not harmonic at all. And I have been myself in ceremonies where shamans have actually dragged out souls from the dimension to set them free into the karmic cycle. So yeah, it's very powerful, and if it's done right. But again, tapping into those energies, it's very hard not to get impacted and influenced. So I don't mess with, I only mess with good frequency.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't
But
open up the a Pandora box that you can close.
yeah, that's another one that's
Yep,
going down the rabbit hole.
yep.
Oh, that's fascinating. Where do you see yourself? What piece to the puzzle do you see yourself fitting into the future of medicine with regards to sound healing?
A lot of people, that's a good question. A lot of people say, well, medicine, this and that. I don't think we should discredit what we've achieved so far. Yes, our system has been controlled, and some organizations trying to benefit from it. Yes, but there are good remedies even in the third reality of solutions that we have today. But I think where we come in, it's like a supplement. It's okay, you want to take your pills, do it, but do you want to take your pill for the rest of your life, or do you want a fifth element aspect to heal you? Get off your pill, because a pill at the end is a substance. It has to get digested, it has side effects. I see a ad for a pill on TV, 5-minute ad, 5 second is an ad, and then 35 second is side effects. They give you more side effects than the benefits itself.
Yeah, totally.
So it's all coming together hand by hand, and not because if once we start saying no, energy healing is the answer, again we are creating this harmonious, rejective path that somebody has to be better for somebody to has to be bad for, or the duality of competition that got us this far. But does nature wake up in the morning and say, "You tree, you're not better than me," or "You flower, you need to be worse"? No, it's all through collaboration and coherent energy, right? So we have to learn from nature and incorporate the saying, everything works just together. It's not like, let's not try to discredit another and to lift our own technologies or concepts up. No, but accept, learn, adapt, and elevate.
I love that. I love that
So it's a
explanation.
supplement. It's a supplement for faster recovery, faster healing, for making sure you get there fast, And we have clients even imprint frequency into their medicine, daily medicine, and they've seen amazing results.
Oh wow. Okay, that's
Yeah,
definitely one to try. Yeah.
yeah.
So you can do that pretty much with everything, right? You can do that with water, as you mentioned, with food,
Crystals, yeah.
crystals. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, anything that's organic matter. You cannot do it with nylon, plastic, polyester. It does not work. We've tried it many times. But as soon as you have some organic matter, even mixed with polyester, even mixed with nylon or something, then it might hold a little bit, not too much, but it's possibility. So any organic matter you can imprint frequencies into, and it holds from 1 hour to days.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to
Yeah,
that. Amazing. And for people who are interested in trying it, testing it for themselves, I know you do a 7-day free trial period for people
yeah, yeah.
who want to try out the app.
We also
And
have, if you cannot afford it and you're sick, you need help, reach out. We are willing to set you up for free.
oh wow, amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
we are here to help people elevate, and if you're in that condition where like $10 a month is not affordable for you for any reason, some people $10 is not, but you need it. If you feel you need it, your heart's telling you, I need this. Yeah, we provide it for free.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's brilliant. I really I love the app and I love your work. I feel like
Thank you so much. I
it's such an
appreciate it.
amazing way to introduce this topic of sound healing and sound medicine into the world,
Yeah,
in a very kind of holistic way, but definitely very powerful way. So
very
thank you,
powerful.
Art, so much.
No, thank you. I think what we're doing, we're just tapping in just tip of iceberg. This is a huge journey that requires lots of testing, lots of correct way of thinking about it, and not taking something blindly and trusting it. It's like if I give you a bag of medicine and says, "Oh, this is, for example, rife," would you start taking the medicine to see which one works? No, you're gonna wanna Google each and every of them to see what's out there, right? And we should be very cautious with frequency. With frequencies, we have direct energy weapon that can destroy countries. We have levitation devices that can lift a tons of stone with just one frequency. So we have to be very careful when it comes to frequency and our body, and be very skeptic. And I have a lot of people say, "Oh, it's just frequency." No, it's not just frequency. It's the frequency. So yeah, be very careful what you're using. Always ask for back research, and always do your own research. Definitely.
No, 100%. And yeah, like actually something I wanted to touch on was about the destructive side of
Yeah.
using frequency, which you just kind of covered. But yeah, that's definitely yeah, it can be very, very powerful. I can't remember where I heard, but there was a story. I don't remember where I read it or heard it somewhere, but there was a story um, somewhere years ago, I think somewhere in the Asian part of the world, maybe China or something, where a group of soldiers, a huge group of soldiers, must have been thousands of them, they were stomping for a long period of time, like several days or something, and apparently the wall that they were supposed to go through, that was blocking them from passing through to the
Yeah.
other part,
Yeah.
was ruined from the stomping and the vibrations created from that. So
Yeah.
that's
And there have been caves, I believe, in Tibet, or that region. I might be wrong on the name, but there have been found caves high in the mountains. And then they entered the cave, they saw 30, 40, 100 tons of stones laying in the cave. And then the question comes, we don't have that technology today to lift that kind of thing. And then you go read Sumerian tablets and all these ancient scriptures, they talk about levitation through sound. So they would have, they found these huge, long trumpets. And I think 21 or something people would get together and they would blow the trumpets in a certain pattern that would allow for the stones to be levitated up to that cave. It must have either that or water, right? There is only way we can do that. We can't even do that today, but there were no water around there. You have to have massive water elevation for that. So there is no history of that. Then there must be use of frequency or some other alien technology that we don't know about.
yeah, and that explains also the pyramids of Giza and
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
Machu
Yeah.
Picchu and Cusco and a lot of these stones. Yeah.
Yeah. These are they we really understood the power of pyramid, the free wireless energy for everybody on Earth. It's totally possible. Pyramids are very powerful. Pyramid energy, and I have experimented a lot with pyramid frequencies.
Oh yeah.
It's so powerful that it can actually shatter any objects you played through. So,
Oh wow.
and then in my music we have quarter tones, which is on Turkish music, Arabic music. Not everybody have quarter tones. Indian music don't have it.
What's a chordotone? What does it look like?
Baritone is so on piano. What do you see? You have white notes, you have black notes, right? But in Arabic music, in Persian music, in Turkish music, we also have in between a quarter tone.
Uh-huh.
So it's not white, it's not black, it's quarter of that. So if we really take that calculation and look at the pyramid calculations, we see through quarter tone scale, we actually paint in pyramid structure kind of energy. And that's why those music are so powerful, and It's all over. Everything we do from when we get up to night, it's frequency.
Yeah. No, completely.
Music we
Yeah.
listen to, food we eat, clothes we wear, things we
Yeah.
read, things we think of, things we say. It's all
Yeah.
frequency.
If you were to recommend to people specific type of music that they should listen to in terms of apart from the sound healing, I'm
Yeah,
talking about general music, MTV, type of popular music.
yeah.
What would you say will be the most healing that you know of and the most destructive that you know of?
Very good question. Well, there are many science behind classical music, specifically Mozart music, helps a lot with learning, with that kind of. So it all depends on what we're trying to achieve. If for frequency should be like for a specific application, right? So do I want to go out, have fun, drink and things? Then yeah, we want that boom, boom, boom. Is it healthy? No, but it's only a short time. It's like you have a unhealthy food, once in a while. It's not going to kill you. It's just in moderation. But do I want to really deal with deep feelings, unblock emotions? Then 432 for grounding, for deep connect, for healing, right? Do I want to connect with water, energy, 429.62? And then if we look at the solfeggio range, the 9 frequencies, they're all individually designed, like certain for guilt and liberation. 1888 for what now? Eight. Yeah, I don't remember that, but yes, it's for luck and abundance. So they're each specifically tailored towards a very specific. 639 is for love relationship. 528 is for love. 174 is for pain relief. 741 is for detox. 936 is for divine consciousness and changing situations. So they're very exact carved for a specific situation that we want to use. And the way to use this is hold your space 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and these are not the frequencies we want to do while driving, while washing dishes, or no. The way frequency healing works is we have to hold the space even for 5 minutes, and then it has to be sessionized. Put the electronic aside and then go through a session and document before and after feeling. And once this is done through a routine, we start to see a lot of changes.
So test it on yourself, yeah.
Yeah,
See,
on the app we have not only we have the prime solfeggio, we also have ultra advanced solfeggio that nobody's talking about, because solfeggio is not just about 9 frequencies as we talked about earlier. It's also about what's in between, the harmonics that gives actual volume and mass to each frequency that really makes an impact.
uh-huh. Oh wow. That's
So
definitely, yeah.
the metaphor is like I have a hose. I cannot move a car with a hose of water, right? No matter how strong that hose of water is, it would not move the car. But I can have much less pressure, but more water volume, like rainwater, flood water, suddenly comes and lift all the cars up easily and moves them around like there's nothing, right? That's the difference between a single frequency, the hose, or the harmonic frequency, the mass and volume. So you can move a mountain with mass. It's very powerful.
Oh wow, that's fascinating. I bet the musicians listening to this would really enjoy this.
Yeah, musicians would get it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
harmony in music is very, very big, especially if you're into classicals.
I actually really love classical music. For
Very
some
powerful.
reason, my parents used to play it all the time when I was a kid, and and they used to play it in the mornings when we would have breakfast, and it
Yeah,
was just I remember just having such a serene type of
yeah,
space that it would create within the home, and
yeah.
yeah, it's
Try it
really
for yourself. Next time you are in a creative mode or you're in a space where you require focus, creation, flow, that
yeah.
cycle flow, play one of Mozart's. And there's actually a specific Beethoven or Mozart. You can Google which one, it will come up. Play that track its original format, because I don't know how many people have done later on, they've changed the frequencies or not, but definitely the original track that we can find, and then have that comfortable volume in the background. Do your thing, don't think about it. It shouldn't be bothering you, it shouldn't be disturbing your flow. It's in the background, and then after 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you realize, oh my god, I'm in the flow now, it's coming.
Yeah.
You can't help it. So
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about.
I'm curious to know, for the untrained ear, for someone who isn't into music or doesn't know about different frequencies and stuff like that, is there a way? Is it obvious if a song is playing on a frequency it's not supposed to be? Like you mentioned, everything was changed to 440. Is it obvious to
Yeah, it's very obvious.
Oh, it is. Okay.
So our ear might not be trained to hear it, but our soul is much more intelligent than we give it credit for. We'll hear it. So the example is that suddenly we are driving in a car, and then we have the radio on with some white noise on, right? Have you noticed after sometimes you get so agitated and so aggravated, you turn off the radio, and the feeling right after you turn off the radio is, oh, that was
Yeah.
bothering me.
Yeah.
Right? So our soul really picks up on it, whether we are numb to it or not. I accept it, because that's a different case, because we all operate on a certain level of consciousness, right? But our soul hears it, and if we ignore it, that's why it can harm us, it can make us sick, it can keeps us in a certain state of frequency, not allowing us to get above the mind. It's like a trap. It's like a jail, cell. We are trapped in a frequency.
Yeah.
So yeah, our soul picks it up no matter what. And some of us are sharp enough to know, oh, this is bothering me. But some of us keep listening even to white noise for hours and hours, and they're just numb to it.
Yeah, and in terms of white noise, there are some baby monitors or toys. Oh my gosh.
I love the balloons.
There are white noise toys for babies to help them sleep. They sell them. So what would you say? Is that not helpful then? Is that
So
something?
if you measure white noise, is very similar to ocean noise, Somehow it's kind of nature's way of white noise is ocean. If you really put them side by side, they mostly both of them somehow trigger same brain parts of the brain. But prolonged listening to white noise for 1 time, 2 time is good. But if you have to listen to it every night for a prolonged time, it can definitely have its effect. Because
Wow.
why? It's first of all artificially generated. It's not calculated per what ocean is. Ocean is analog. We're talking about the digital creation, which is all ones and zeros. And definitely, if we measure the sound of ocean on water and white noise on water, we can definitely see the pattern and destructive patterns on the formations, crystal formations, right? So, because it's similar to a brainwave and it works, doesn't mean it's healthy. So we have to be careful with that. And if you want to have something really nice, then definitely listening to nature sound, wave sound, jungle sound, bird sound, rain sound. They're all therapeutical. They all have their massive effect on our energy.
Oh wow, that's very interesting. Okay, I guess anyone who's bought any white noise toys out there is gonna throw them away after this.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
For
Wow.
short term it's okay, but long term, print that white noise into a water, freeze it right after, and then look at it. It's not nice.
Okay, wow, that's very interesting. Yeah, just remember the sound of the white noise from the old school TVs, if you were trying to switch a channel and you get that kind of,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and definitely not very pleasant.
No.
Oh wow. Well, Art, thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you.
your
Enjoyed
wealth
our
of
session.
knowledge. Thank you so much. Yeah, is there any last words, or if people want to maybe connect with you, or they have maybe some ideas, if there's any scientists listening to this, what would be the best place to find you and to connect?
Best place is PEMF through the so we have PEMFhealing.app, which is the app itself, but we also have the PEMFmagazine.com,
Okay.
which is an actual magazine, and we host all of our research, all of our findings, all the papers, everything on there. It's a free subscription. You don't even have to be on an app. You can just go there. We don't charge for it. And then you can find us through PEMF Healing on Facebook. I'll send you the links, you know. It's a community based, because if we have a solution, we need to have a community. We live in a world that everybody can buy comments, reviews, thing. We want to be as transparent as possible. So by anybody going to the group, just head over to success story chat. You actually can read the success stories people are talking about, uh, first-hand results, and anybody have the option to just interact with them, ask questions. Hey, how did you do this? Did you use a headphone? Did you use this? Did you use that? So this level of transparency we have not seen across. We really want to see this across everywhere on product. Allow people to ask questions. Like in many products, I've been told, you go in and asking for science-based proof, they just block you. They don't want to talk to you. So that's not the way to drive technology ahead, right? We need to be as transparent as possible, and allow people to voice their opinion, and then share their stories, whether it's good or bad, and learn from them and go from there. Definitely. So those are, my personal Instagram is Art Tawanghar, you know, so you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, message me any questions. Try to answer, as we get a lot of requests, but try to answer them as much as they allows. And always, you know, last word is always do your own research. There is nothing more valuable than your own first-hand experience. Once you do the research, it's not required to have to be a scientist. It doesn't require money, too much money. You start to understand, wait a minute, there's something here. And that's something that is worth going after and finding out. What is it? You know, and what we seek is seeking us. So let it find us.
Wow, an amazing way to end. Thank you so much.